Szanowni Państwo, kolejna prezentacja.
Ladies and gentlemen, we are looking at another exhibition, an individual exhibition by miłosz Pobiedziński, titled The Cathedral. Today, in this beautiful sunlight, well, the entire cycle is inspired by Impressionism and one of the famous cathedrals that belongs to the genre. Miłosz Pobiedziński presents his contemporary take on Impressionism, and the light that we are experiencing is going to contribute even more to the sense of reflection and its experience in the world. Miłosz, could you please tell us a bit more about your works? How long did it take you to create these pictures? What was the main idea behind it? Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. I'm very glad to see many viewers. My name is miłosz Pobiedziński, and answering the first question you asked, I'm a visual artist, but I'm also a teacher at the Faculty of Design in Krakow. My faculty is called the Faculty of Industrial Form, but it's basically a design faculty. I work at a chair that is supposed to constitute a basis for students to further educate in visual art. So it's as far as the labyrinth is concerned, this is my first exhibition in the festival, of which I'm very happy. And I would like to thank the organizers for having me here, especially Professor Jerzy Olek, to whom I sent the presentation of the cycle, and he said quite briefly that I was enlisted among the exhibitors of the festival, and it really made my day. And I also would like to thank Anna for accepting my works. You could think that it's a cycles produced especially for this opportunity, but because there are so many windows in the building, but this work dates back to 2005 and 2006. It's a cycle that took me 5 years to create, and my job here was to observe a particular phenomenon, a lighting phenomenon, and to register in form of a photography, digital in this case. The year 2005 witnessed the launching into the Polish market of pretty good digital lens cameras, so I decided it's a good opportunity to obtain one of such devices and use it to move back to a traditional way of thinking, like a painting who can create their concepts or sometimes construct an image in a very precise way. And the digital camera provided me with this opportunity. So on one hand I tried to register light and color and it was not edited in Photoshop. However, the opportunity the program provided me with was to strengthen the perspective. This work might be interesting for students, for instance, of Łódź, because each of the pictures was each of the works was created with a 10 million pixels matrix, with a camera of 10 million pixels matrix. It's a pretty small camera, and it's a combined form, meaning that every single image was made of 7 different pictures put on one on another.
Powiem tak, że jest to, jak widzimy, inspiracja katedrą
As you see, the inspiration with the Bruel Cathedral is pretty apparent in these pictures the cathedral by Claude Monet. But I wouldn't like to limit myself only to the inspiration of Impressionism. Quite the opposite. I would like to quote Felix Manga-Jasiński, who is an important character for the Polish as a collector and sponsor of Japanese art who lived on the turn of the 19th and 20th century. So I believe he cooperated with all significant artists of that time. And the quote written on the board is also written in the catalogue. It's an expression of the collector's amazement with the cycle of Claude Monet. Jasiński saw his paintings in Paris and he says, it's enough to sit by the window at different time of the day and year and you can create masses of works that are interesting but totally different from each other. In Paris I saw a facade of the cathedral in Rouen painted more than a dozen of times by Claude Monet. He doesn't so much amaze himself with Impressionism, but he does appreciate the concept of Claude Monet. And this painter is described as an impressionist in many art history guidebooks, but in my opinion, he was a precursor of conceptual art. Because by creating several canvases, and I know that his entire family helped him to get to the location to paint the landscape, and he painted the landscape for an hour. He changed the canvas after that time and he started a totally different painting of the same view, and he kept on going for a few hours, finishing more than several dozen of works that were started but never finished, and that was his mode of working. For me, it's a great example of when in the 19th century artists no longer worked with landscapes, but they started to think in the context of some kind of an artistic action. As far as my concept goes, it's a single subject in different views. It's nothing original. It's the genius of Monet. But I was just curious to see how it would work on a different media, a digital medium, like in this case, a digital photography that we use on a daily basis. To summarize my introduction to the exhibition, I would like to say that it was a very strenuous exercise of the eye, that taught me to notice nuances and details and to notice change. It taught me how to be amazed by a real view that I captured time and time again and designed thanks to the available software. So I would like to invite you to see my exhibition. The title of the cycle is The Cathedral. There are plenty of works in the cycle. There are also interesting rhythms in the space, and I decided that instead of hanging each of the separate work in the rail system using using the line, I decided to present it in such a way. It's not an installation, that would be an overstatement, but it's definitely some kind of a rhythmic intervention between the art and the architecture of the venue. Once again, thank you very much for having me at the festival amongst such fantastic and magnificent artists. Thank you very much. Thank you, Miłosz, very much for introducing us to the exhibition, for presenting this interesting technique. If I was to say something, I would like to tell you that it's worth observing even views from the window, the changing light, because as you can see, every time of the day provides you with an opportunity to look at things from a different angle, in a different way. So please remain attentive. I would like to invite you to another exhibition in a moment. When you go through the open door, you will have an opportunity to see an exhibition that is the result of cooperation between the University of Szczecin